And he scores. That's right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Pep Talk with Pepper Johnson. He is going to tell you everything you wanted to know. He's going to tell you how it is. He's going to tell you how it was. He's going to tell you how it should be and why. This is our first episode. This is what you guys have been asking for out there. We know this. These are the guys who played the game when the game was incredible. Nothing against the game now. I still love it. I still watch it all the time. But we want to hear what Pep's opinions are on everything from how it used to be to how it is now. And that's why we're here. So let me bring everybody in who's on. Tonight we are, of course, joint. Pepper Johnson's always going to be here. Pepper's out there. How are you doing, Pepper?
Yes, I'm good.
We are joined by a very special guest tonight. Mr. Everson Walls is here. How are you doing, sir? Wonderful. And the man who makes it all happen, Mr. Ken, the Godfather over there. He is the guy who runs the show. Wouldn't be a show without him. And Anthony, the Greek Junior Snyder. If you guys don't know, Anthony Snyder's father was Jimmy the Greek, and he's a sports expert. And he's going to be here, and we're just gonna talk sports. That's why we're here, everybody.
That's right.
So everybody chime in. Everybody doing good. It's going to be a fun night.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for my cue when I can tell my wall story.
All right, well, let's get it ready.
All right, so guys, we have a little bit of a loose format for the show, but we're going to start off with it's our pregame. So let's go right in. All right, so the pregame. So the pregame is basically Pep's going to tell us. Yeah, you go, buddy. This is your time to shine.
I'm rude. Okay, Everson Walls. This is who I want to talk about. This is the reason why I wanted him to be the first guy on the show. Is A+ for me. Everson Walls. When I was playing when we was playing, I decided, hey, I might want to coach high school football one day, right? And I felt like the information that I know as a player, if I could give it to high school kids, oh my goodness, because I talking to so many ex-players or current players at that given time, they were saying the same thing. They didn't know what they knew at that given time, what they knew in high school, but still was stars, All-Americans, or whatever. Okay, so this brings my man Everson Walls into the crowd. When you look at Everson Walls and you think about where he came from, he was undrafted when it was 12 rounds. He came, yeah. I don't mean that in a bad way. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's so many. One of these other programs, we're going to talk about first round draft picks when we can just start going down the names and no one amounts to anything. But here we are, we undrafted. To me, it don't say anything bad about you. It says something bad about the freaking dude that's out there scouting that they didn't recognize. So now Walls is a different beast. Walls covered any and everybody that lined up in front of him. And he's stuck now. Of course, he's a freaking he's Google in football at corner, so he knew everything. And of course, this is before Google. Everything about the freaking wide receivers. And so I'm looking over at Walls because this is my freaking ego. I'm like, how in the hell Walls do not get beat deep when I can outrun him in a freaking 40 and he can? That's my joke. That's my joke. I want everybody to know. That's if y'all expect this for something to be.
Hey, you
y'all expect for anything to be funny and something funny, another punchline. I'm leading up to it. That was the funny part. And I'm like, how in the world is he covering these dudes? Walls tells me. Now remember, I'm seeking information to tell high school kids someday when I decide to coach. But this is like year 4 and 5, so I'm hoping that it's not coming around anytime soon. So Walls tells me that he don't being from Texas, that they have a certain way that they teach Texas guys how to run 40. Whether they had a fifth ball, and I don't know. Walls can tell you what better. And then he get a guy from California, and maybe they run with their hands. And so, and if he ever had a receiver that would that's from one of those states, he would watch and see if they was true to form. That if that guy that opened his hands again, I don't know which from which. We can ask him when I get finished. But if that guy from California had his hands open and he tried to run a stutter, Walls didn't bite on the stutter because he knew the guy was running the goal because his natural instincts was to run as fast as he can down the field with his hands open, and vice versa with the guys from Texas. And I'm man, this is killing me. Now you take his savage mentality, and anytime someone came close to running out or any outside routes, he baited them and he jumped them and he picked. And it drove Parcells crazy to the point where Parcells said, if you beat them, have them join you. And so that's my Everson story of getting him over to the Giants and why I think he's the best freaking corner, besides leading the league back-to-back years in picks at a corner with double digits. And that record, chances of 3 years in a row. Oh, but it was the back-to-back double digits, right? Did you get 3 all double digits? I mean, God, to be more careful. It makes it even better.
No, it was back to back, and one. Back, and one.
Then one. Nice.
Back to back, and then one. And then one.
That record would never get broken because as soon as one corner get double-digit interceptions, he's a cover corner. But Everson Walls, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen,
I'm pretty sure Walls told me that they're in a tight end in the league he can't cover. I wish a tight end would come my way.
He's trying to climb.
No. I just want to ask Pepper. I want to ask Pepper, what did you run in the 40, Pep?
The fastest time I ran? A 4.59.
Listen.
Oh, wow.
Really? Yeah. I ran actually at a 4.
Your 40 time was faster than mine.
Hey, man.
I ran my best time was a 4.61. That was my best 40 time.
High school and all? High school, college and all?
Well, yeah, that was the fastest. Yes. I was the fastest I was ever going to be when I was coming out of college. I never got faster.
Yeah.
Never got faster. I ran a 4.61.
Everson, I'm going to say that's why you went in the 12th round. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that. They couldn't see the intangibles.
Well, no, I mean, if they had it, I may have gone in the 13th round, but I never did go anywhere.
Yeah.
If they had another round, maybe I would have gone in the 13th.
If there had been a 13th round.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Listen.
But little did they know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I always had this funny story to the Giants that first training camp, and you guys were messing around, Pep. I wasn't starting yet. I was just kind of trying to make my way in training camp and trying to find out what's going on. And so you guys were working on special teams, and so I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
And Coach Poe was coaching the tight ends. And, I never played safety and played against the tight ends ever in my life. So he wanted me to come down there and give the tight ends a look in one-on-one. So, how a cover wide receiver, you speed your brain up.
Yeah.
You got to speed your brain up to cover these guys because they're so quick, like a Meggett or somebody like that. You got to speed your brain up to cover these guys, right? And so hopefully that relays down to your feet. So I go down there to cover the tight ends to give them a look. They had Morosco was down there. Remember Morosco? He came.
Yeah,
Thornton
yep,
Chandler. Thornton Chandler was down there. Howard Cross. Howard
yeah,
Cross was there. And
yep.
what was the Italian's name? Come on, what was the Italian's name?
Bavaro.
Navarro.
I shut all that shit down. I shut all that shit. They did not even cover. They did not catch one pass in a 15-minute drill. They did not catch one pass. I covered every one of them every time they came out. They did not catch one pass. By the time the drill was over with, Coach Poe says that was a big fucking waste of time. So
Yeah.
that was one of my most gratifying moments. First of all, I'm offended that you think I'm going to let a tight end catch something on me, something that I never did that happen. No tight ends ever caught a ball on me, period. And you bring me down here, and I feasted on them, Pep. I feasted on them, and I didn't break a sweat. I swear I did not break a sweat.
Oh.
Too much fun.
Yeah.
That was a fun training camp.
I have a question for Everson. When you came out at a Grambling, right, the historically black college, do you feel like those programs were getting the respect that they deserved with the athletes that they had?
Well, I think that's just the state of America. I could start off with that, but I think the main thing about it was we had a player named Doug Williams, and of course he had a pretty good career in the pros. But at the time, he was the first black college quarterback to be up for the Heisman.
Hey, a lot of people, that argument about, you have so many quarterbacks coming to the league, and the better they were in college, pretty much the worse the team was when they came into the league, right? So you take Doug and you take Steve Young, and both of those guys went to Tampa. And Steve Young couldn't budge Tampa from doing anything. When is Doug, I'm not saying he took him to the Super Bowl or anything, but he won more games in Tampa than Steve did. Okay,
They went to the playoffs after 5 years he was there. They went to the playoffs 3 times, and that was the best that you can expect from Tampa Bay Buccaneers because he brought them from nowhere.
Exactly, freaking doormats. Okay, so then you take Steve and you set him up around let's say better coaches and definitely a better team and a team that was already had winning in their blood. And now this guy is a Hall of Famer. He's MVP of the league. He's everything what people was expecting when he first came out of Brigham Young. Now you take Doug and he goes win. Well,
It took him about 10 years talking about Steve Young. It took him about 10 years.
Yeah. Sitting behind Montana. Yep, and he never complained or anything. He still should be thanking us and Leonard about we kept knocking Joe out, but he and Doug he went and did it. That's why I sit up there and I'm scratch my head about why Doug isn't in the Hall of Fame. But
what he did.
You have
just the significance of what he did alone.
Yourself.
Just the way he did it, the records that he broke. The way that the team just really took to him as a leader of that team. You can tell all season long they never wanted Schroeder at all to be their quarterback. They kept trying to push all these other quarterbacks, and Doug just sat back and chilled all season long until they finally called on him, and he led them to some late season wins during that season, and he never lost again when he got under center. So when you look at something like that, that's some. You remember the Robert Redford movie?
The natural.
When he came back as an old man playing baseball.
Oh, yeah. Coming out of the
that's the stuff, man. I mean, that's dropping the mic, walking off into the sunset type of stuff that surely I thought deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. But when you start talking about the disconnect, I'm going to be real with you guys. When you're talking about coming to Grambling State University and you're sending a scout to look for players, nobody wants to come to Grambling. Grambling is barely on the map, okay? And let's be real, guys. There is, as much as you have the players back in the day that helped form the AFL that came from HBCUs, those type of players, they're the ones that caused the AFL and the NFL to merge because the play was so good. Those were mostly HBCU players in the AFL league at the time. They forced the merge because of their good play. And that's just a fact, right? So when you look at all of that history, you still look at scouts that look at HBCUs, especially now, not so much at the time, but especially now, as less than. So when you step into the league, they're looking at you as, okay, this guy is inferior to anyone else that we're going to coach against. So let's go at him. Let's go at Everson Walls. He's from Grambling, okay? And he ran a 4.61. And so when you look at that, they think that's easy. They think there's going to be light work that day. And so I came into the league expecting that. I mean, they were throwing at me 15 times a game. They were throwing at my man 15 times a game. So I had to do a lot of work. And eventually, you know, you have to finally get that respect. So the disconnect is there when it comes to the system. The scouts don't believe in HBCUs, and they didn't believe them even back then. And so that's why we're in the position we are in now as HBCUs. We can't get players because everyone's going to Power 5. No one's going to transfer to go to an HBCU unless Deion Sanders is coaching the team. Otherwise, they're going to completely other schools. And that's just a fact. That's always been the way it was. That disconnect started after Doug Williams and guys like him left HBCUs. They felt like the talent pool was dry.
And it is so
awesome. What a great perspective. I really appreciate your perspective on that. I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah. Listen, that's a great question. Like I said, we're gonna hopefully have Everson on many more times because we could literally spend hours talking about just any one subject. But like I said, whatever anybody wants to talk about, that's what we're open for. But we do have something. I'm going to give you guys another couple minutes if you had anything you want to talk about from this weekend. But then we've got the bulk of the show, which is we are going to break down an incredible play from NFL history. And these guys are going to do it, and we're going to sit back and watch them. And it's like I said, it's a big one. It's not one of the biggest of all time. It was really big to these guys. So we'll get there in a second. But was there anything this weekend or anything you want to talk about from football right now that we can cover in a few minutes?
I got it's something I'm talking about today on a particular podcast that I'm on. It's called Mix Shots. We do it at the Cowboy Star. I don't know if you guys know the beat writer was one of those Mickey Spagnola. And every time he gives an injury report with the Cowboys, there are so many key players on the injury reports. And it seems to be a common theme for all NFL teams. And I had to ask the question because I remember when I lined up in the huddle, whether it was with the Cowboys or the Giants, there was always Too Tall standing next to me. I always saw next to him Randy White. Next to him was Harvey Martin. And to my right was Michael Downs. Almost every game, every practice, we didn't miss practice or games. When I went to New York, I always saw Pep in the huddle. I always saw Carl Banks in the huddle. I always saw Myron Guyton, Mark Collins. We never got hurt, Pep.
Exactly.
We never got hurt. and we nearly the training programs that they have to this day. I'm trying to figure out why is it so common for not just players, but superstars of every team to be constantly hurt or on an injury report. What the hell is going on? Somebody please tell me.
I got
Yes,
this
sir.
one.
Your hand is raised.
Ooh.
Yeah, yes, you with your hand up.
First and foremost, well, we were hurt. We just played hurt. It was injured. It was injuries that was going to stop us from playing. These guys now they're being pampered. When we were being told, Parcells would say you can't make the club in the tub, whereas these guys is pushed to Tubbs. They're pushed to masseuse. They're pushed to one of the things that Parcells told us, if we are back then 28 teams, if you're tougher than the other 27 teams in the league, you should be better than them. And we always felt bad because we always felt like we started off slow, moving slow, because everybody else, you watch them on film, everybody's flying around and they was flying around because they were being pampered, and it was mainly AFC teams. It was mainly AFC teams, and who we were playing the preseason, and and rightfully so. Then when we came into the division with New England and with Philadelphia and Washington, Cardinals, everybody Cowboys, everybody was moving around the same pace because all of us had the same type of practice schedules where we was two a day, two a day, two a day, two a day for 2 months, and starting off like that. Well, these guys, you cannot get in football shape until you play football. And we always, the toughest thing, Parcells, he relayed to me, Belichick said the same thing, is that the toughest people to get ready for the season are the running backs because we don't want you guys tackling them, and that's the first thing they need to get used to. So our first day of training camp, we would have goal line, and the running back would run between the tackles, and between the tackles they was live. We could tackle them, but if they bounced out around the outside, then it became like a regular practice. You tagged off. We were good teammates, so no one tried to go outside of the rules. So that way, Joe Morris, Rodney Hampton, O.J. Anderson, everybody got used to being hit. But that's how you got ready. And today, they don't do that. They're not even allowed to have padded practices, like 2 straight padded practices. And then they wonder why these guys are hurt or on the sideline and all that stuff like that. And matter of fact, Jeff, I was telling you when you was asking me about my Pro Bowls, I feel like I got ripped off on one. In '88, yeah, I was in a rotation. I was a starter. I was in a rotation, but that rotation stopped me from getting votes back in the day. And Ronnie Lott, I heard him one day in an interview where people was asking him that he could not play in today's game on all the rules and all that stuff. Ronnie said that he takes that as an insult because you're saying I wasn't a good enough athlete that I could not adjust my game to what they're trying to get the players to do today. And I've been like, how many times have I been trying to say that? Oh, Pep, you couldn't play today. Hey, when I seen them guys start penalizing people from clotheslining, that was my favorite tackle. You running out of bounds, I would clothesline you right before you get out of bounds. And right when they said it's a penalty, ding, ding, ding. Pep no longer clothesline people when they're running out of bounds. I'm sorry. That was the only arm tackle that I would brag about. That's the only arm tackle I felt good about when I choke the guy when he's trying to run out of bounds.
All right. We got to end this. I know we can, once again, we're going to bring all these topics up later. We're going to talk about this. This is going to be what this show is, guys. We're going to get this insight, but it's only an hour-long show, and we got to get to this clip, and I promise you guys do not want to miss it. So for our next segment, this is Ken. Where are we going? Here we go. So, guys, the play that we are going to be breaking down this week is the last offensive drive of the Buffalo Bills and the first of their 4 Super Bowl appearances against, a couple of guys who are Pepper. I think you know a little bit about this.
Started it. They never got over the war wound of what we did to them. People don't understand.
Listen, they never got closer than they did here, and we're going to break down this last drive. And if you guys don't know how this last drive of theirs ended, well, you're going to find out.
Let's talk about it a little bit. Set up in the beginning. This was back in the time there wasn't a 2-week span between the Super Bowl and the championship games.
That's right.
So you guys came off of that big win against San Francisco, like you said, where Leonard Marshall hit Joe so hard that when he got to the sideline, asked him where it hurt. He said everywhere.
Montana, yeah.
And we flew straight.
No, I always said knocked him into Kansas City. They knocked him into Kansas City.
Yeah,
certainly did.
Exactly. Hey,
but
this was I mean a little history before this game because it really made Belichick into like a prophet. Our first meeting when we got out to Tampa. Defensive meeting, just a defensive team, that he asked a show of hands, and we should have known it was something going on because he had a newspaper at the podium, and he said, "Show of hands, how many guys would like to be the Super Bowl MVP in this room? Raise your hand." And of course, a guy like myself raised both my hands. Some guys halfway raised their hand because they knew Belichick was up to something. Now he goes and he says, we have to give Thurman Thomas 100 yards rushing. In the game. We're like, oh, come on, Bill, man, come on with the game plan. Come on with the real game plan. And, you know, BS, right? So then he goes and he reads that Thurman said he was the Michael Jordan of the team. Andre Reed said he was the Michael Jordan of the team. Jim Kelly said he was the Michael Jordan of the team. Then someone asked Bruce Smith, and he said all of them are crazy. He's the Michael Jordan of the team, right? So Belichick's point was, if it gets into a crucial situation, like a last 2 minutes to win the game or something like that, and if you're Jim Kelly and Andre Reed already done caught 10 passes and got 100 yards, and Thurman got already done ran for 100 yards, he's gonna have to go to somebody else that's not in our game plan and that we're not worried about. And little did we know at the given time that we're going to end up being Hall of Famers, that he's going to take the game into his own hands. And sure enough, blah, 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 you fast forward to this drive right here. And after Thermo gets that last run and increases his 100 yards, he already had over 100 yards, and he increases it. He doesn't throw the ball to Andre. Thurman is loose over the sideline when he could have threw the ball to him on a scramble. And Kelly keeps the ball twice on scrambles himself, but doesn't get enough yards. They out of field goal range. And next thing you know, Walls is on the cover of Sports Illustrated like this.
And then I stole the image for a legendary impression.
Yeah. There you go. And I also want to bring up the fact that Anthony was actually at this game with his father in the press box. What was it like for you to be at the game, Anthony?
Well, that was one of the great things about being Jimmy the Greek's son. Whether he was working the game or not, we were at all those Super Bowls, every single one of them. That was the highlight of his year. he would be in a hotel room, and on the desk there'd just be like stacks of tickets. My dad would be he might have been one of the first guys that, like, turned over hundreds of Super Bowl tickets back in the day. And I remember the first one we went to, it was only $20, so that was cool. But we were right in the end zone where that kick came through. So, and my dad he just yells some kind of obscenity and like, yeah, because he had the Giants on the money line.
Like I said, the fact that they only had 1 week to prepare, everyone always says, oh, if Belichick and Parcells had 2 weeks, they would have won by 25 points. That's why the Bills were able to keep it close. But what was the speculation in the sports analysts? Were the Giants? I mean, because the Bills came off a big win against the Raiders in the AFC Championship.
They were like 6 or 7 point favorite, right?
Yeah, they beat the Raiders like 52-0 in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, we didn't stand a chance. We didn't stand a chance. But again, you got Walls, and people don't get it. I tell folks all the time, Lawrence Taylor, his football IQ, he clowns and he can't really help but to try to make money off of his miscues early in his life. So, and then you got Carl Banks, and you got Diassi's, you got Reasons, you got Mark Collins, you got Greg Jackson, Guyton. You have a lot of football knowledge that was out there, and none of us was selfish. So when we were asked to do certain things and to go out there and play, like Walls is he made his career at a corner, but you played corner. I mean, safety the whole game, right? For the majority of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Hofstadler, right?
We did things so. We did things so differently that game. I mean, we didn't do anything like the Giants did, except for just play good defense.
Get after the ball.
We didn't have the same that game. He put me at safety. I had been at corner the whole season for the most part. He put me at safety almost the entire game. He had me calling the plays, but I had a lot of help out there because I would call a play, and then Pep and Banks would call the line situation. So we were constantly communicating the entire game. And guys, people forget, we won with a backup quarterback and the backup running back.
Yeah.
And that didn't deter us at all. I got to say, when I came from the Cowboys, that situation in Dallas, forget Jimmy Johnson, just the Tom Landry years, those last years of the 80s, it was a very selfish locker room. That's what Pepper was bringing up about the Giants. We were never selfish. When I went from Dallas to the Giants locker room, it's a totally different feel. The comfort zone there for me was at its highest level because I didn't have to worry about a bunch of politics by being in Dallas. When I came to New York, Parcells didn't want to hear crap about what I had to say. He wanted to see me do it. Mm-hmm. Bill Belichick didn't want to hear about what I had to say. They wanted to see me do it. And if I did it, then I was going to get my mark. I did it, and then they blessed me with, what I needed. And I told them that if you let me start, I really told them this. If you let me start, we can win the Super Bowl. Because I'm looking at that defense, and I'm thinking, I knew I could get interceptions behind these guys. And I told him, you have got to let me start. Because you let me start, I'm going to get so many picks for this team because of what you got up front. And sure enough, I end up leading the team itself in interceptions. We led the team, the whole NFL, in defense, as the Giants always did. So everything that I talked about to Bill, he didn't believe me at the time, but it happened. And my thing was, he didn't try to hold me back, and there was no politics involved in it. That locker room was run by the players. That's one thing that Parcells always did well. He let the players run the locker room. And that gave me that comfort zone that I needed to come in there and help these guys win.
Nice. All right, well,
you got
go ahead.
Dave Durson, Everson Walls, their first defensive touchdowns. Walls got freaking 60 interceptions, and he scored one. And where was it? Yes. He got 50 of them with Dallas, and he got 10 with. I'm exaggerating, but
I got my one.
That's all it took.
I don't care how they tease me. How much they tease me. I am proud of that one damn touchdown.
That's all right. Listen.
Yeah, I've often. I'm sorry. I've often talked to, and I say this all the time about players that, I used to work with DeMarcus Ware, and the year that the Patriots beat sorry, Pep, the year they beat the year you lost to the Giants. I was with the first one. I was with DeMarcus, and he said to me, "Hey, man, I can't believe." He said we had 11 guys on the team go to the Pro Bowl. Patriots had one, and they went to the Super Bowl. I said, "Well, that's the difference between you and the Patriots." He said, "What?" I said, "You guys are worried about going to the Pro Bowl. They're worried about going to the Super Bowl."
Yep,
that's the difference.
That's right. We were with the Giants. The exact same thing. You had LT that was going to go every year, and you was lucky if someone else happened to make it. A couple of us. I was voted in '90 after that season, but we had other guys that was going because of injuries with guys around in the league. And Renee Thompson, special teams. But William and Mark, those guys, they went because of guys being hurt in front of them. But hey, again, you look at the Hall of Fame, and those guys got 5 dudes in the Hall of Fame, and those 2 Super Bowl teams that we had, we got 2, 3 count Parsons.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can't get an offensive guy. They won't.
How did you guys feel about Hofstetler? I mean, had you settled down with him as being the starting quarterback, or was he still like that backup that was filling in? I mean, did you have confidence in him?
No, you're breaking up, Pep.
Ken do this. I run my mouth. My mouth, and it's on. But okay, so we can get to the play. It's not. I mean, to the plays, but it's again. I'm gonna give Belichick a lot of credit for seeing this series, but at the same token, I'm gonna say it mildly, because he is a good friend of mine, and we do talk. But I wanted to choke him because he listened to freaking Johnny Cook tell him I'm tired. And he took me out of the game. I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he. I told him. I ended up telling him later. I said, "Man,
Pepper, gotta let it go, man. You gotta let it go, bro. You that's been bothering you for decades.
Let's watch it. You can watch Pepper get pulled.
Yeah. Let's run this clip and see how this goes, and hopefully we'll have time to still. Let's watch it. Here we go. This is the final drive.
Yes.
So there you go. You got Jim Kelly,
someone outside
quarterback. Rolling. Look at this.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this. We were talking about this earlier. There was a nice push up front, and Pepper, you came around the side here.
Yeah, watch Pepper. Pepper's at the top of the screen. Top.
Who is that?
That's House. The House ballot. But Eric Howard falls, and he never falls. So I would have had him. I had him. He was right in my freaking sights. But when Eric Howard they trip, he falls over to the side. He never gets pushed to the side, and now he goes and run. And then I had to make an executive decision on trying to strip Kelly or not, and just tackling him. And I said I'm gonna tackle him because I wasn't a stripper. I wouldn't. I believed in causing fumbles. It was still called. It was still CF, not FF.
Right.
Now,
We talked about that a little bit earlier off camera when we were watching this play. That Pep he like back that's the fundamentals was to get them down. Like the fumbles and all the turnovers will happen if you. He talks about it earlier about to us about how he kind of almost regretted that he didn't know, but it's like, no, you did the perfect thing. It all worked out the way it was supposed to. I believe in that fundamentals. Everybody tries too hard to get the ball and run down the field with it now and be the guy who scores a touchdown when all they should do is get the guy on the ground. So kudos to you, my friend.
Arm tackles, and they make Derrick Henry look like he's freaking Earl Campbell. And I think Derrick good running back. He's gonna have everybody mad at me.
Listen,
he's running through arm tackles. I'm sorry. Somebody has to go and get sized up for some real shoulder pads and then go and hit that guy.
All right. So we're 2-minute warning. Here we go.
So when I watched this over again, as they were putting out, I mean, at the time I didn't notice the stats, but you look at this stat: field goal attempts of 40 or more yards on grass fields. He's 1 for 5. Is that something that you guys are aware of?
Yeah. They brought it up.
Yes, we were.
Up in our meetings and all that stuff. Yeah, we knew.
All right.
We knew where he needed to get to and all that stuff, and that's why we felt good about it. And then now this freaking Thurman Thomas run happens.
I was going to say that this run right here, Everson Wallace saved your game.
Let's watch it.
He saved
Everson said my name.
No, Everson saved
the game right here. Watch this.
Because
they got me over there. I'm over there on the side, still pass rush.
Yeah, that's all right. That was a good tackle. That's all right. This is it here, though.
Twice, but now then they go and they give Thurman the ball. He cuts back, and we don't have anybody on that side. And Walls come and get and get him in. That's what you. That's what you
I'll tell you what. If Walls can make that tackle, he's still running.
Yeah, everybody know about Walls and his interceptions.
I think if nothing else, he would have been in a better position for a shorter field goal. That's something that we were getting concerned about.
So where
they were getting a little bit close for comfort. Yeah.
Where did this play go wrong?
It was a cutback. It was
Yeah. What's the play? What's the play after this?
Yeah, the next.
Hold on. It's the next play. Hold on. It's coming up. But you got reasons over here on this side, and he steps in. He don't supposed to step in because they have the numbers over here with the tight end. So
he's almost right over the tackle.
Yeah, exactly. So he's outsmarting himself, and he's cheated over too much where he should move away from LT. LT is like our other defensive tackle. He's standing up in the inside. He can rush or he can drop back and cover. And I really don't remember all these arrows balls. I don't know about you, but Lawrence is not rushing. Or he decided to rush this go. So he's rushing. And then Leonard is ripping inside, and that's the tight end that's on his shoulder. See, everything is a big pile right there. Gary don't supposed to. Our position is a name linebacker.
Gary has already made a false step, and that's what got him in trouble. That one false step.
Exactly. And his job is to back up the line. And if Leonard is up in there like that, he should be over on this side. There's too much. We have enough people on this side. He shouldn't be in a hurry to get over there anyway.
I was going to say, if you watch him, he sprints. He sprints to the right.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, first and foremost, he's lined up too far inside. He's behind, and he knows it when he starts running. When he put his head down like that, he knew it. Yeah, he would have had just a running free hit at Thurman.
Yeah. All right, so now they're down. They're on the 40. They're still out of range.
Yeah, and this is when when Johnny is over there working Belichick, and I think these guys, Eric Howard, Eric Howard is patting himself. He needs to come out. And LT,
Eric Howard started coming out of the game before one of the plays was even over. That's how fatigued he was. Turning around, going to the bench, the play was still in progress. He couldn't. He had no more. He had nothing left. He had nothing left.
I think it's this. If you watch the front line of this one, they don't even try. They're just standing there. And they're giving them all day.
Yeah, they're exhausted. They're exhausted. We're going against the no huddle, so we knew it was going to put a lot of pressure on us.
There he goes, right there.
Eric was never that good a shape, Pep.
When he comes, he's breathing.
He's blowing. Yeah.
Now Eric Howard, to his defense, he got asthma anyway.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And so T walks, and I want to say T walked in and walked out. I walked out and came back, but see, T is out there, and Johnny Cooks got me. He talked him to it, and Belichick tells him to get me, and I'm like, this is crazy. So right now, I'm like, hey, I hope we win this game because if we don't, I'm gonna have to assassinate Belichick. I'm sorry, because there's no way. I have never been tired in a fucking game.
Did you guys see that catch with the pre-stickum gloves?
Oh my goodness, yeah, dude. I'm sorry, but on the screen. The next play, they go and run Thurman over there to my side. Look at Johnny getting pushed all around, and then dive on the pile.
Sure did.
And you said you were on the bench, Pep.
Yeah, I'm over there. They're gonna show me praying. I'm praying. Everybody think I'm praying that he missed the field goal, but I'm praying that that I don't make it a reason that I need to kill Belichick.
Now again, is he out of position? Because he looks like he's over to guard.
No, he's over the tackle. It's the tight end over there. But yeah, he should. Gary should get wider. Gary is over there with him.
You got all the linebackers are bunched up.
Yeah, we're in a 3-man line, and Gary it's Banks. He should be wider.
Yeah.
So we have no edge. But and if you seen me. I didn't care if it was the tight end or the tackle. I was first of all standing up, in which Johnny didn't supposed to get down. I was standing up, and then I was playing those guys.
How confident were you guys at this point? That well, there you go. There's your confidence.
That's how confident they were.
Tell you, I'm telling you.
Hey, we had God on our side. We had God on our side, guys.
What was going on in the press box, Anthony?
God wanted me to go to jail. He didn't want me to leave.
All right, they're there.
Hey, Anthony, what was going on in the press box at this point?
I just remember my dad, he was very good friends with Mr. Parcells, Coach Parcells, and he had action on the Giants on the money line, so he was praying for that miss too.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'm going to sneak this one in. One of the things to show you.
Hey, your dad had us. Your dad probably had us in the bet too, right? I mean, I'm sure he bet on us, right?
Yeah. The money line, yeah. He had you to win the game outright.
Well, let me say this. You notice that we had the yellow wristbands on. Now, the league didn't want us to wear the yellow wristbands in the postseason when we first started. Right, Walt, when we played against the Bears and stuff, they was like they didn't want us to wear it, and talking about people, getting upset about it. But we wore it for the troops then. Now, 30 years later or whatever, and then now they're complaining about players not standing up during the national anthem, and that is being disrespectful to the troops.
Well, okay.
Well, they thought
what was it like being there with Whitney singing like that? Even though it comes out later that it was pre-recorded, what was that?
Anthony, I'm gonna tell you this. Whitney still sang. She was singing.
Yes, she
with the tape recording, but she was singing. Trust me on that. She was singing. She was letting it go because I was standing right up under that freaking little box or whatever.
Me, you and Big Dog. Me, you and Big Dog. We were right there. She
was singing, and I know what people say. Like at first, I didn't. I thought when the first person that told me that, I thought they were just messing with me. They was lying. I was like, no, Whitney was singing, and it was like did I end up about it was already pre-recorded and all that stuff like that. But I was like, okay, but I'm here to tell you. I heard her come in one time, and she was letting it go. Oh yes, Whitney was singing.
Yeah. To this day, the greatest rendition of the national anthem in sports history, in my opinion.
That's true.
That's the irony. I mean, the NFL really hyped that up. I mean, the reason why that was recorded because they plan on releasing it as a single the next day, which they did.
But
they wouldn't let you wear the wristbands. I mean, it was that's kind of the.
We wore them.
Yeah, I know, but they were gonna fine you guys or whatever. But here they are embracing it with the whole Whitney Houston thing, and but
the whole vibe was about patriotism and the troops over there.
All right, let's see. All right, let's see this kick because we are running low on time here. I want to see this beautiful, beautiful kick. Here it comes. Buffalo Bills. Here they are. One field goal away.
Boom.
Boom.
That's the closest they'll ever get to winning one.
That is they even though they attended the next and fought their way to 3 more Super Bowls, they never got closer than that.
Okay.
Hey, Prep. I knew it was wide. It went right over my head. I knew it was wide. It went right over my head.
Let me ask you a question.
Beautiful.
Let me ask you a question. How do they send Marv Levy to the Hall of Fame when you're the coach? Your job is to correct mistakes and put your players in the best position. Okay, he lost that one to a better team. He goes and loses another one. Then he goes and loses another one. Then they don't even try in the 4th one. And some say they was mad that they even got there. Or they got there and they really felt bad because it was Dallas again. And he keeps seeing these freaking NFC East teams. How in the world do somebody
They never got closer. Yeah,
we're getting farther and farther away. This guy, yeah, he's a hell of a coach, and he should be in the Hall of Fame. How in the world does that happen?
Listen, that is an argument for the another day at least, because right now we are all out of time, so we are down to our final of the 2 minutes, the final play of the game. This is Pep's game ball. So what Pep did is he picked he's got a game ball he's going to hand out for this past weekend, and we have a clip for it, and he's going to talk about it and why they get the game ball. You're on, buddy.
This is crazy. So it's 3rd and 10, and everybody is. I'm listening to a lot of people. I actually was watching the game because of Josh and Patrick Graham, but everybody is killing Jordan Love on him throwing this pass and getting the interception. And then they start trying to kill the coach because the coach is telling them to throw it. you got a matchup, and if you just look at them right now, the cornerback is a 5'8" guy, and you got a 6'3" or 6'4" wide receiver, right? So they just feel like if the safety don't stay over the top of him, let's throw it in, and we like this matchup, right? My game ball doesn't go to the defensive back, the 5'8" defensive back that no one didn't see his vertical in the scouting report. It goes to the wide receiver, because right there, go back to Love, when he's throwing up his hands, and it's bad because it's kind of like on his teammate, but he's throwing up his hands. Why does the receiver jump backwards? He's supposed to attack the ball. In the worst case scenario, he's supposed to turn into a defender and not let this guy catch the ball with one hand up against his shoulder pad. You got to do whatever you have to get that ball out of his hand and at least go to fourth down when they got to throw it back up again.
That's a 50-50 ball, Pep.
Yeah.
I know it's 50-50. I know it's 50-50. But they're hoping they looked at this matchup, and when he came out, I'm Walls, I'm telling you, if you're on the headset, you're gonna hear and say, "Oh, we got what we wanted." I'm quite sure that's what they wanted, the 6'3" guy against the 5'8" guy, and letting them get into the end zone. No one else. It didn't make it so bad. If the other cut of it, the corner originally got beat, and the ball should have been thrown a little earlier. And he would have caught it. He could have threw it on a V-line, but originally the corner got beat.
Yeah, I was going to say the quarterback looked like he was trying to finesse that ball in.
Right. Well, here, run it again, Ken, because I want to see what stopped him from throwing the ball earlier. Hold on, let me see.
He got forced out of the pocket.
Right? He steps
Yeah,
up.
forced out of the
He
pocket right
steps
there.
up. In the rush, he got to scramble, then throw it.
Yeah, he had some time though. He did.
Yeah, he had enough time to put a little more mustard on that, but it was.
You know, though, if you watch, he threw it off his front foot.
Yeah.
He
winged it.
Yeah,
He didn't get the depth he needed on that ball.
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
Hey guys,
hold on.
the wide receiver is still supposed to get that ball. That's a 50-50
Exactly.
ball.
That's what I'm ready to say.
Wide
He don't
receiver
supposed to
jumped up,
throw
caught the
that
ball.
ball. Exactly. He don't supposed to throw that ball at the cone. That's not a cone throw. That's a ball. That's a jump ball. He's supposed to throw that. That's a jump ball, and he didn't supposed to put more on it. What I was saying about he could have thrown it earlier because the corner sat down looking at the quarterback and looking at the rush, and when he seen him come out of the rush, he took off running. Now, when he throws it up, he throws it up for a jump ball. And if we would have had the other cut, the guy catches the ball with one hand just on his shoulder pad, and the defensive back, the receiver who should have turned into a defensive back. I'm moving too much. Jeff told me not to move. Well, he jumps backwards instead of attacking the ball.
Instead of attacking the ball,
he grabbed it out of his hands. I was told this. Let me give y'all another little pointer, and it's huge. It's huge. Y'all gonna start watching football differently after talking to me and Wall.
That's right.
If you have a receiver, if he cannot jump up and touch the goalpost, the crossbar, with both of his hands, you do not throw him a ball in the inside between the tackles. You do not. Right. They run outside routes because anything, the trajectory of the other back's arm and the balls can get tipped. You got a linebacker that's sitting around there doing nothing. He can tip the ball, get an interception. You do not throw the ball to the smaller guys that can't jump up high enough to get the ball off the goalpost. Right? So you throw those balls outside. You throw those receivers. You throw those balls outside. You can throw fades. You can throw outs. You can throw read routes. You can throw slant, which is also a dumb play in the red area because all defensive line coaches teach their guys to power rush and put their hands up. So
Right.
the slants is the possibility of you getting those hit also. But that particular pass right there, that's why you want the taller receivers. That's where you want the guy to be able to come up with
Right.
the jump ball. And I see nothing wrong with what the quarterback did. I see a whole lot wrong with what the receiver did. Game out to the receiver.
Right.
For the Raiders.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, that's our first episode. Now we're cutting it a little bit shorter this week for segments because we're gonna add one next week. We're gonna have some picks so you guys can see which way Mr. the Greek Jr. is gonna go on his picks for the weekend. We weren't ready for this weekend. We're gonna have him next weekend, so he's gonna get to tell you, and you can know where he's gonna put his money where his mouth is. He's gonna tell you where his money's going. So he's not just telling you what to bet. So it should be fun.
Born in Vegas, lifelong gambler, watch my dad go through millions. So, there's only one word that I would put out there as far as if my picks is backed up by my money.
There you go.
That's it.
There we go.
But
No fantasy football chicks picking games against the spread here.
Exactly. There we go.
there is a conversation for another pep talk. I want to thank Everson Walls for joining us, and you can catch all of us here, Ken, myself, Anthony, and Pepper every week. We're going to be doing this, and we're going to be covering a new play. We got some great plays lined up. We're going to have some great insights into what's going on in football and what, like I said, how it used to be, how it is, and how it should be. And we will see you all next week. And Pep, you want to say goodbye to the people and get us out of here?
How did we do this? How did we do this? No, I'm just kidding. No, I want to thank you guys again, but hey, we're going to start this off, and hopefully we're going to run this thing for a long time and continue to bring on and Walls with his insight and some strong people, and not just guys that, they're trying to make sure they watch what they say and all that stuff like that, trying to be politically correct. I don't want that. I want to be able to sit down.
I don't give
you're getting real.
That's right. And listen, we're gonna have lots of different guests on between everybody here. They have a lot of football friends who are going to come on the show. So it's going to be a really great time. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.